All right. I think I'm live. Yep, I am live. How y'all doing? I am trying something a little bit different today. If any of you all like have multiple Facebook pages or groups or anything like that, like it can be confusing sometimes. So I am going live from my page as opposed to from my from my personal page. Sorry, I'm trying to turn the volume down on my phone. I always like to make sure I'm live so that I don't know. I always like to see it how you guys are seeing it from your end too. So I kind of sit here and have myself talking to myself, which is kind of weird at times. But anyway, let me give it maybe a minute or two and see if anyone is going to join and interact live with me today. If not, if you are watching this on the replay, like I just start talking at some point, and I know it is smack dab in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week, and so I realize y'all have things going on. So this is just kind of the time that I've carved out to be able to focus on sharing a message with you guys and just kind of speaking from the heart. It has become, this time actually has become a little bit of therapy for me because I don't always know what I'm going to talk about. In fact, I rarely know what I'm going to talk about until either the morning of, sometimes it's an hour before, um, sometimes it's just a thought that I've been carrying with me all week. And I really just want to be able to kind of put it out there somehow. So I'm rocking my Vols today. I'm a little bit casual because I don't have a lot of like businessy meetings today. Obviously, I have a lot of work. My plate is full, thus uh, the topic today of being overwhelmed. Hey, Elizabeth. Thanks for joining, girl. So, with that said, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of jump right into this topic. And I say this every week. Actually, you know what? I'm going to turn my salt lamp on, raise the vibration a little bit. Y'all, I bought this little salt lamp from Family Dollar for $12, I think. And it's probably one of my most favorite things. I don't know if you can really see it. I'll show it to you. It's just a little Himalayan sea salt lamp. That's what it looks like. I don't think it's like a real one because I got it at Family Dollar. But there's something about kind of the ambient light that it puts off, and it's not really translating that well through this video. But if you can get one of these, I've seen them on Amazon and things like that. I don't know. It like has this instant calming effect when I put it on. So anyway, I like to kind of give y'all a little bit of a life hack. So I'm going to dive in and I'm going to show you total transparency. Like these are my notes for today. This is kind of how much I've thought about this topic of being overwhelmed and what that means and how do we manage being overwhelmed. Because it's a real thing. It is a real thing to have feelings of being overwhelmed. And so, what I want to talk about today, and again, I'm going to keep this to about 30 minutes. If I feel like maybe it's another topic that we have at a later date, or if we want to continue it, like y'all let me know. Just feel free to write in the comments or message me and say, yeah, this is something that I'm struggling in, and I think talking about it is really helping me. So I'm happy to do that for you guys if there's just topics that maybe you're struggling with. And what I'm learning in my life's journey is that you got to talk about these things. We can't keep it all up here all the time. The more that we can talk about it, have some dialogue, hear other people's perspectives on it, I think that's how we kind of navigate these things. So, sorry, I keep hearing myself there. Um, so guys, it's September. We just finished up Labor Day, which is kind of the end of summer, so they say. And actually, I don't know about you guys, like I do kind of feel like fall is on its way. Like it's right outside the window. It's like, hey, I'm here, I'm ready, let's go. So, but we've survived a whole summer. We've survived more than half the year in this situation that we're in right now, that we're still in. I know a lot of people are like, hey, it's opened up, let's do this, let's do that. And I totally understand that, getting back to some sense of normalcy is a need and a desire for all of us. But things are still weird. We're still wearing masks, y'all. We're still social distancing. I haven't seen my family since February, um, in person, and so things are still very, very much, um, as they've been all of 2020. So I think we are just learning how to adapt and adjust, and I think we're getting a little bit braver at times and things like that. So yeah, we've survived the summer. We've had to basically relearn how to live our lives on a daily basis. And so that in and of itself can be overwhelming. Just things that we took for granted, things that we did without thinking. We've now had to relearn how to do them, how to grocery shop, how to, take care of errands, how to take care of our appointments, all of that. But it's really, really, I don't know what it is about September, but September is that month of the year where I feel like the biggest changes and transitions are happening. And so it's like the end of summer, but then it's the start of school, and it's the end of summer, but it's the start of fall and the change of season. And it just sometimes feels like September is just that time of the year where everything is happening all at once. Like, let me know if I'm the only one that feels that, but I feel like just September is like gears are churning again. We were all kind of just hanging out and living our lives during the summer, but September is like snap back, reality, let's get it going. So, you know, I don't know about you guys, um, but that's overwhelming. It's overwhelming to me. Like, I am overwhelmed a lot, not every day. Um, I try not to be overwhelmed every day. That's part of what I want to talk to you guys about. But in total transparency, yeah. Like I get overwhelmed. A lot of it is self-inflicted, if you will, because I like to bite off probably more than I can chew at times. But other things are just life and work and now school and homeschool and all of those different things. It's very overwhelming. And so before I even get into anything else that I talk about today, I just want you to know that if you're feeling overwhelmed, if you're feeling like it's a lot, if you're feeling like I just can't take it anymore, just know that you are so not alone. You are not alone in feeling that way. You are right to feel that way, because that is a reality of life. Um, but so let's dive in. So, in these talks, I like to define things because I like to get really clear about what we're talking about. So when we talk about being overwhelmed, I looked up the definition and there were three things that stood out. One is to bury or drown beneath a huge mass. Okay. So just being overwhelmed by a huge mass of something. To defeat completely. So to feel overwhelmed is to be defeated completely by something. And you can kind of think in your mind what those things might be for you. The third definition was to give too much of a thing to someone or to inundate. So too much work, too much homeschooling, too much interpersonal issues, too much drama from your friends, too much, okay? Too much is overwhelming, And so that's overwhelmed by definition. I found it's not necessarily a quote, but just kind of a perspective around what it means to be overwhelmed. And it just says, overwhelmed is an indulgent emotion that serves no purpose. There's no purpose in being overwhelmed. Serves no purpose in our lives. Overwhelmed is never caused by what's going on in your life. Okay. And that's kind of a big nugget to take. Being overwhelmed is never caused by what's going on in your life. It's caused by your thinking, mindset, how you're approaching your day, your week, your month. That is causing the overwhelm. What you think about what's about to happen, or what you think about the workload, or how you are setting up your mind to think about things that are actually happening, that's where the feeling of being overwhelmed is coming. It's your mindset. Okay. So that's why I do these talks with you guys. Because, and I'll say it, I think I've said it once and I'll say it again, like, your mind is so powerful, and you can choose to use your mind for good or for evil. Like we talk about superheroes and things like that. You can choose your mind every single day. You can choose your mindset. You can choose to be negative. You can choose to look at the dark side of every situation, or you can choose to look at it completely positive. And that is what we're talking about. So to control being overwhelmed means to control your mindset. So I've got a couple. So I listened to this podcast and I came across, her name is Emily Abadi. She has a podcast called the Hurdle Podcast. And it's kind of just ironic, stars aligning, if you will. God speaking to me. I don't know. It's all of these things happening. But she actually did a podcast that I came across just this morning around strategies when you're feeling overwhelmed. And I was like, this is perfect. This goes right into what I really wanted to talk about today. So I'm just going to run through those really quick, what she shared, just because I thought that they were really tactical, tangible things that you can focus on when you're feeling overwhelmed. And this might be overwhelming. So if you've got a sheet of paper, write it down. Actually, if you have a sheet of paper, I should have said that in the beginning, because the things that I'm going to share are kind of in list form. Or you can just rewatch this. But so she offers one of the big things that she said around when you're feeling overwhelmed and how to manage that is that you have all the tools you need to manage your feelings of feeling overwhelmed. You have all the tools you need to get through this. You do. Not your friend, not your sister, not your spouse, not your coworkers. No one else has the tools that you need to help manage your feelings of being overwhelmed. So just know that you control that 100%. So here's the 5 strategies, 5, not 10, 5, that she gave. And I can link to the whole podcast, but this is like, if you want the cliff notes, here they are. One is to get up and move more. So y'all know I'm a fitness instructor. I'm very passionate about health and fitness and taking care of your body. But if you are in a moment of feeling overwhelmed at any time of your day, get up and move. Change your scenery, change your venue. It is all about energy shifting. So if you are in a moment where you are feeling really overwhelmed, you've got to recognize that and get yourself out of that situation. Shift your energy, get up and move, take a walk, go outside if you've been inside all day, or if you're at work, if you're at your office, go into another room, go to the break room. If you're frustrated with your kids and homeschooling, go into the kitchen, make yourself a glass of water. Anything you can do to get up and move. Hey, Leo, thanks for joining us, girl. You haven't missed much. But yeah, get up and move. Number one thing when you are in a moment of feeling overwhelmed, or if you are in a season of feeling overwhelmed, focus on movement. Our bodies were created to move. our bodies function so much better when we are moving and channeling all that energy and getting all that blood flow from our heads to our toes. So getting up and moving is like your number one strategy if you're feeling overwhelmed. The second one is hard, but so worth it. And that is to talk to someone. If you are feeling overwhelmed, it does not serve you to keep it all inside. And y'all, I am the number one, like, I'm good. I got it. I'm fine. I'm fine. Like saying I'm fine is probably the easiest two words to ever roll out because um it's just easier. But it being overwhelmed, it's not about taking the easy way out. When you're truly overwhelmed, um, you got to talk, you got to open up, you've got to release that energy out. If you have a trusted friend that you can talk to, like that's the best thing that you can do. And if that should be a person in your life that is just going to listen. They're not going to tell you what to do. They're not going to negate your feelings. They're not going to do any of that. They're just going to listen and allow you to get that overwhelming energy out of your system. You guys, we all want to be strong. We want to be perceived as the strong ones. I got this. I'm fine. But the reality is that's why we get overwhelmed, because we're trying to like be this person that sometimes we're just not. It's so okay to not be the strong person all the time. I am talking 100% to myself because that is a trait that I fight through all the time. I want to be the strong one. I think one of the biggest things that I'm learning is just the power of opening up, the power of sharing my story, the power of just saying, you know what, I don't got this. I know that's not grammatically correct. You got this. I don't got this. And so, yeah, number two strategy, talk to someone, get out. And this is one thing I wrote down that I was like, dang, she just like really hit it. But she said, get out of your own way and let someone else in. Get out of your own way and let someone else in. That's so powerful, y'all, when we just need to let go. Like sometimes we just got to let go, get out of our own way and let someone else come in and help get us through that. So talk to someone. Third thing, write things down. Total transparency, I'm not a journaler. I know that can be a very powerful tool for some people. I'm more of a post-it note person. I have lots of notes everywhere. I do have notebooks, like I showed y'all my notebook. Shout out Leo, look, here's my notebook. Amazing things are happening. This is one of my favorite notebooks. I'm going to be really sad when I fill it up. But I just like to write down thoughts. And maybe that is journaling and I'm just not calling it that. But thanks for joining, Elizabeth. See ya. Come back and watch later because there's a lot more that I'm going to share. But yeah, so write things down. Be unfiltered when you write things down. If you're upset, like get it out. Like, man, today was really crappy. Like if those are the words that are in your head, get them out. Get them out. Be unfiltered if you have to write things down. If you have to write it on a post-it note, who pissed you off today? Who's overwhelming you today? Write it on this post-it note and then rip that thing to shreds and throw it away. But get it out. Write it down. Fourth strategy is when you're feeling overwhelmed. And for me, it's like I get overwhelmed because I have a lot to do. And I don't always feel like I have enough time to do it. And I feel like I'm dropping balls left and right. So the fourth thing is make a doable to-do list. So write down those 2 or 3 things that you know you can do. And that could be, I am going to wash the dishes today. I am going to move the clothes from the washer to the dryer today. um, I am going to send an email to so and so about whatever. Like, what are those things that you know you can do? Knock it out of the park. Do those things, because the more you create capacity by getting those little things out of the way, hopefully the less overwhelmed you feel by your massive to-do list. So break it into small chunks. Do the things you know you can do. Yes, Shelly, stop overthinking. Um, and then the last strategy that she shared, that Emily shared in her podcast, was to admit it to yourself. Admit that you are overwhelmed. Admit it, like catch yourself in the moment and be like, holy crap, I am so overwhelmed right now. And like feel that and know that that's okay. If you don't recognize the issue, you can't take action on it. You know, like if you can't look at yourself in the mirror and say, girl, slow down. If you can't pause and know in the moment that that's what you need to do. You guys have heard me say in like previous talks, like, what do I need right now? Asking yourself that question. That is the key. Admitting to yourself that you're overwhelmed so that you can kind of go up to steps 1 through 4 and figure out what you need to do. So really quick, those 5 strategies, to helping manage kind of feeling overwhelmed. Get up and move, talk to someone, write things down, make a doable to-do list, and then admit it to yourself. Just admit you're overwhelmed and leave it at that. Admit that you're overwhelmed. So I guess as I kind of start to wrap this up, there's a couple things that I want you guys to just think about. And they all relate to being overwhelmed. Hang on, make sure I'm not missing any comments. Duty calls. Yes. Okay. Y'all are still with me. So a couple of things that I want you guys to just think about. If you're nodding your head and you're like, yes, Sylvia, I feel overwhelmed. I've got all this stuff to do. I don't know if I'm going to get it done. I've got drama going on over here. I've got, whatever, work is piling up. My kid is failing in homeschool. I don't know. Whatever those things are for you. These are some things I want you to consider, because I think that they are the catalyst to getting to that state of feeling overwhelmed. The first one is, how much sleep are you getting? Real sleep. The more I talk to women, and just talking about certain things, like the more I realize we have an issue with sleep, y'all. We're not getting enough sleep. And in the amount of things that we're trying to accomplish during the waking hours, like we're not getting enough sleep. And I'm talking about REM, knocked out, 7 to 8 hours, consistent sleep. So if you are finding yourself feeling really overwhelmed a lot, that's one thing that I really would just want you guys to look at. Yes, Leo, we're not getting enough sleep. I remember when I was in my 20s and I was in college, and like I could pull all-nighters, and then get up the next day and just like keep it moving. I don't even know who that girl is, but I did back then. That was life. The older we get, y'all, the more sleep becomes vital to everything that we do. That is when our body has a chance to rest, to truly rest, like physiological rest, not just shutting our eyes and getting cat naps, but like our organs get a chance to rest. Our lungs get a chance to rest. Our heart can slow down so it's not pumping quite so fast. Our cells get a chance to rejuvenate. All of those things are happening, that our body knows how to do these things if we just create the opportunities for it to do it. So if you are feeling overwhelmed a lot, check your sleep. The other thing is, how much human connection are you getting? And I know this is tough, y'all, because we're in this like quarantine, COVID, and all of this, and human connection has just been so hard. I get it. I crave it. I am a people person. I get my energy from people. I get my life from being around people. And when I'm feeling overwhelmed, it's usually when I haven't had those opportunities to connect with people, and not just the people that I work with that we're talking about tasks and things like that, but just true connection when there is no agenda, where there is no, these are the things that we have to get through, where there is no, I got to help you with your math problems, all of that, but just true, genuine connection. So if you are feeling overwhelmed, I encourage you, reach out to someone. Reach out to someone that you can just talk to and have a human connection with. Um, the other thing around feeling overwhelmed, and this is kind of a spin on things, but it's like, what are you learning? Are you learning new things? Are you feeding your mind with new things, new and positive things? I can't think of another word other than things, but um, that when you're feeling overwhelmed, it's usually because you're stuck in what you are thinking about in the moment. But when you are incorporating new thoughts, new ideas, I don't care if you go on YouTube and you learn how to, I don't know, build a fort. I don't know. I'm making things up because it can be different for all of us. But what are you learning new? Maybe it's just learning a new word every day, learning a new quote every day. But that is all about how are you feeding your mindset, okay? So, and then the last thing that I want you guys to think about when you're feeling overwhelmed is, how are you talking to yourself? What are you saying to yourself in those moments of feeling overwhelmed? Are you being positive? Are you shouting out that you got this, girl, you can do this, just do it. I know you got it. I know you're tired, but you can push through. Go for it. Like, are you speaking positively to yourself? Or is it the opposite? Are you overwhelmed and you're like, I can't do this. I knew I shouldn't have signed up for this. I knew I've taken on too much. I knew she wasn't a good friend for me. I knew he was a piece of crap. I knew that show was going to be awful. I knew whatever the things are. Are you talking negative? Because that is a shift. When you're overwhelmed, you're going to instantly want to speak negatively. So I don't know if you guys know who Jay Shetty is. He's like a former monk, and now he's like this positivity guru. I don't know. I think the guy's brilliant, and he's kind of easy on the eyes too. But he offered just this like short little reframing of negative thoughts. So when you catch yourself saying something negative, like, "Oh, I can't do this workout. I can't work out today. I can't ever look like so and so on Instagram because she's perfect," or whatever those negative thoughts are. There's three things that he offered up to do, which I'm like, I can remember this. This is easy. Whenever your mind starts drifting to those negative thoughts, spot, stop, and swat. I totally butchered that. Spot, stop, and swap. Okay. So spot the issue. What is the negative thought? Oh, my website doesn't look like hers. Okay. Stop. So stop doing it. Like, in what moment are you having those negative thoughts? Is it while I'm sitting there aimlessly scrolling social media, comparing myself to everyone? Yeah, stop it. Put your phone down. Step away from it. If what the action is yielding a negative thought, remove yourself from that. And then the third one being swap is, what can you do to swap that behavior for something positive? So maybe it's like you're scrolling through social media and you start comparing, and we get in that comparison game. Maybe instead of scrolling social media, maybe you are reading an article about being overwhelmed. I don't know. Like, you shift that thought from being in that negative moment and swap it for something that's going to be positive. And his philosophy behind that is, if that is a consistent exercise that you're doing, you are going to train your mind to think more positively. And when we're thinking more positively, it is a lot easier to manage the things that are going on in our lives. Thus, we are not as overwhelmed. So, I have reached the 30-minute mark, and I hate it when I go a little bit longer, but I feel really passionate about this because I know that we're all overwhelmed. I know that you're watching this and you're nodding your head and you're like, yes, Sylvia, I'm overwhelmed. And I hope that you say that out loud, and I hope that you listen to yourself when you say it. So I would love you all to be overwhelmed in a positive way. Is that even possible? Can we overwhelm ourselves with positive thoughts? I think it's possible. I think it takes way more work. But that is all about this mindset, that yes, we're going through hard times. Yes, we're being challenged and tasked with things that we never thought we would, but we can do it. We can overwhelm ourselves with positivity just as easily as we can with negativity. So, final thought is just a little quote, and it is a little quote, which sometimes the fewer words that are said, the more power that they have. And it's this: it's let whatever you do today be enough. Whatever you do today, be enough. And if you guys don't take anything from what I've said the last 31 minutes and 52 seconds, like, just know that, like, whatever you have going on today, if you are feeling overwhelmed, hopefully watching this 30 minutes of me talking about it, and giving you guys some strategies and some tools and just some things to think about, like, I hope that you guys know that whatever you do today is enough. Don't overwhelm yourself with all the things that can get done later. Taking care of our minds, taking care of our bodies, taking care of our spirit, like, those are the things that need to happen every day. One more time, let whatever you do today be enough. I always feel like I have to take a deep breath after all of these. I appreciate you guys joining, watching. If you have any thoughts, any comments, any tips, anything that you do that help you when you feel overwhelmed, please share those. Share those with us. Share them with me if you want, and I can figure out a way to share them with everyone. But it's definitely this space in life where we're not alone in this. We are not alone. You are not alone. I am not alone, in feeling overwhelming, in feeling all the things that are going on in our lives. So I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. I'm about to slam some lunch and then head back into my work for the afternoon. So y'all have a good one. Bye.